This is me building a personal finance community in public. It's called Dollar Discipline University. So how does it go? I go through the YouTube comments. It helps give you value right away. So if you are new to this kind of series that I'm doing, this daily series, make sure to get your comments in on any YouTube video, whatever you want, and I will answer it. Literally, whatever. I'll answer whatever. And then we go through my community activity for the day. So, like, what are the things that happened inside the community? Were there any questions that piqued my interest that maybe could provide value to you? And then also, thoughts on my mind to help you reach your financial goals. So the reason why you clicked on this video was why your money goals have failed so far. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So first, let's go into YouTube, how this is going to work. I'm going to go into my community tab here. And oh, there's a question. Let's go. So I'm going to make this a little bigger. Double O Shiden. Oh, okay. I think you joined the community yesterday or this morning as well. So awesome to have you. Thank you for the video. You mentioned working on one goal at a time. What is a good time frame for money goals? Awesome. Thank you so much for the question. I actually love this question so much. I made basically like a presentation on this. Nobody watched it, but that's okay because I like it a lot. So I'm gonna try this new tool actually to kind of map it out. So you guys are just gonna have to bear with me here as I do some drawing stuff. But basically, to your question, what is a good time frame for money goals? So there is not one exact answer for this, but I want to break down to show you kind of how to think about this. So there's short-term goals. There's medium-term goals. And let's say it together. What do we all think this one's going to be? Long-term goals. Okay. Awesome. This is anything less than 1 year. Okay. Let's see if I can do this with my mouse. This is going to be 1 to 5 years. And this is 5+ years. This is a plus. Okay. So that's how I want you guys to think about that. There's 3 different buckets of creating goals. So your question here, what's a good time frame for money goals? Every time frame is good for a money goal. And to add the context, yesterday in the live stream, I did mention to work on one goal at a time. And I was more specifically thinking about this one here, the short-term goals, because we were talking about saving money, building up the emergency fund. What do you do if you are trying to build the savings, but also maybe try to pay down the debt? So that was the context with that. So what I want you to do is maybe do even this exercise where it's like, what could I possibly put in here? Okay. So just bear with me here. We're going to write through a couple. So short-term goals, it's like, hey, I want to save $1,000, right? That's pretty cool. Can I enter? Oh, that's excellent. Okay. I'm still working on the tool. This is going to get better as I keep doing this, guys. We could also, I don't know, let's say you want to pay off a credit card. Let's say it's like $2,000. Other short-term goals, like this doesn't have to be financial. Okay. It could be like lose 10 pounds. It could be like literally anything. Okay. Medium-term goals. Now these are a little heftier, right? So this could be, depending on where you are in your journey, become debt-free, right? I don't know, build a business, right? Whatever your things are. And then your long-term goals, like, I don't know, save for house, kids retirement or kids education, right? Whatever. You guys get the point. And I think it's really important to break it down this way because the best way to do this, and I think I need to give myself a little more space here. Because really you get, can I not move this one? No. Okay, that's okay. Okay, this thing hates me. That's okay. So I think the way to think about this is how can I create my short-term goals to align with my long-term goals? So each one of these, I don't want you to think about as being separate. I want you to think about them as being connected. So our short-term goals feed our medium-term goals, feed our long-term goals. And a lot of times when what I see is people have these long-term goals and they get overwhelmed. This is hard with a mouse. Do you guys have any recommendations of what I can do going forward for this? Like a tablet or something? People get overwhelmed. Terrible circle. Because when you think about it, you're like, oh, wow, I have to save for a house. How the hell am I going to do that? And you think about, I need to save whatever the amount is now these days, 30, 40, $50,000. I don't know how I'm going to do that. It's like, okay, well, let's break it down even further because one long-term goal, it could be equivalent to 10, 100, 1,000 short-term goals. So what can you do today, this week, this month, this year, to sort of put aside, say, in this example, money to save for the house, right? So first things first, in our short-term goals, like if we don't have an emergency fund, we gotta save $1,000 first. Like we can't think about saving for a house. We can't not have savings and save for a house, right? So it's like, okay, step one, we have to have a savings. Step two, like if we're in debt, it's probably not ideal to be in debt and also try to save for a house. Okay, great. This one, we're just gonna delete it. Can I delete this? Yeah. We'll just try to keep it financial, but you guys get the point. It could be for any sort of life thing. Okay. And then this flows really nicely into, okay, pay off the credit card debt into let's become debt free, right? And becoming debt free is kind of important. I mean, I know if you want to save for a house, you're going into a lot more debt. But for me, being in debt is one of the least efficient things that we could do with our money. So I would much rather be putting money aside for myself in the future. And that's kind of how I would think about that. Actually, before I go forward, and I don't know how much I'm going to do this. Like, if I get a lot of questions, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this for every person, but answered around the 1 minute mark. That way, she could find it. Cool. So, does this kind of make sense here? This structure. So yeah, there is no good time frame for money goals because they are all good time frames. I just like it when you give yourself a little extra credit by trying to link the short term to the medium term to the long term goal. Okay. But we're not done here because we got to go down for this. There's a framework that really helps you think about these financial goals better. Because you could sit here and like, oh man, what are good goals? What are bad goals? And I would say that I wrote some bad goals. These are not good goals. These are not good goals. These are more just like thoughts. And it's really good to dump thoughts in here and things like that. But so there's this framework. It's called the SMART framework. And I will try to make this bigger in one moment. SMART framework. Okay. And this is what I want you to think about when you're thinking about any sort of goals. Specific. So what this means is we want to think specifically about what goal we're trying to create or get to or whatever, right? Because if we just say, I want to become debt free, this is not a goal. It's a really good thought. Okay. But you could write something like, I want to pay off $3,000 credit card debt in 6 months. That is a much better structure of a goal because now we're way more specific. Instead of just saying, hey, I want to be debt free, maybe the $3,000 is your only credit card that you have, right? Your only your only debt that you have. So just saying I want to be debt free, it's like, well, how do we measure that? Sure, it's just very binary. Either you're in debt or you're not in debt. But this is way more structured. Okay. And then there's measurable. And this is kind of coinciding with the other one. It's like, what items in our goal can we enter or write down to be more measurable? Um, and for this, we could write something like, I would need to pay off $500 a month to make that happen, right? And now that's like very measurable. It's like, ooh, okay, now I need to find $500 a month to be able to make this thing happen. The next one, oops. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to be a master at this little drawing thing here. I just think the visuals are really cool. Let me know what you guys think about this. The next one in the SMART framework is achievable. And there is a caveat here. This one has a little asterisk next to it, okay? Because with achievable, what I'm saying here is basically like within resources, current resources. So things like your time, your money, things like that, okay, within your current resources. But it changes for each of these goals. So in a short-term goal, we want it to be very achievable. And in long-term goals, we want it to seem impossible. Why? And then medium-term, medium-term goal is obviously somewhere in the middle where we want to have a balance of achievable, but like goal or like super tough goal oriented thing. And why is that? Because there's a quote from Bill Gates, and I'm going to totally butcher this because I don't have it up in front of me, but he says something like, we think that we can do more in a year than we actually can, and we think that we don't think of I'm totally butchering this, but basically it's like in the first year we don't think we can do we think we can do more than we can, and in 10 years we think we can do less than we can. So think about more things on like a longer time horizon. And sorry, Bill, I just totally butchered your quote. It's a nice quote. Think more thing like on a longer time horizon. We want it to feel so impossible that you're like trying to scrounge up all these like thoughts and ways of how we're going to do this. So yeah, if you make this impossible 10-year goal, so like right now, one of my long-term goals, to be very honest with you, is to pay off our mortgage within 10 years. Ooh, that seems tough. We have many hundreds of thousands of dollars on our mortgage, and it's not going to be. We moved in pretty recently, so we're going to be, our mortgage technically goes for like 27 more years or something like that. I want it done in 10. If we can do that, we'd save hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest. So it's like, ooh, like how do I do that? That seems impossible. It seems impossible, but we're working on it. And in that, it sort of creates. We have to create all these short-term goals. I can't just come up with the hundreds of thousands of dollars right now. I have to think about what are my short-term goals. What can I save every paycheck, every month, every year? What are my medium-term goals? It's like, okay, I got rid of the debt a while ago, but it's like, what else? How can I increase income? How can we be more efficient with our finances? Like what sort of things do we need to do with our kids? Because we have 2 kids and like, right. So there's all these factors, but the goal is not just, hey, I want to pay off my mortgage and then that's it. It's like we have to like chunk down the thoughts. Okay. So hopefully this achievable kind of makes sense for you guys. The next one here is relevant. Okay. So with this, so it sort of connects to other life and financial goals. So, like I said, you want to give yourself extra little bonus points if you're able to connect your short-term goals, your medium-term goals, and your long-term goals. Because again, there could be 10 short-term goals to reach this, and there could be 10 more medium-term goals to reach this. Right? There could be any variant of goals, and that's how I want you to think about it. That's how I want you to stack goals. So if this if this whole thing kind of intimidates you right now, just start here. Just start right here. Start with the short-term goals. This is the one we want to start with. Nope. I promise I'm gonna be so good at this. This is the one that we want to start with. This is supposed to be a check mark. Obviously it's more of a V right now, but this is supposed to be a check mark. And then the last one down here is time. So basically it's just like set a deadline. Okay. And this is important. Why? Because if we just say here again, I want to become debt free. Well, in what time frame? In 40 years? In 4 minutes? We got to kind of light the fire under our butts here with this one and sort of really challenge ourselves to do it. So let's say you're like, ooh, $3,000 in 6 months. That sounds it sounds hard, but maybe it's achievable, right? So we like, okay, let's try to make this a short-term goal, paying off the $3,000. We can probably try to do that by reducing our expenses, by maybe increasing some income, getting a side hustle, doing something like really hustling, just getting it over with and out of the way. So that way we can check it off, right? And go to the next one. So these are the SMART frameworks, the SMART framework for financial goals. So specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time. Let's make a nice box around this. Let me know if you guys thought this was helpful. And again, if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to put a comment down in this live stream or any other one of my YouTube videos, because that's literally how I'm going to start all of these lives, answering all those questions. So that was just one. I went super deep on it, but I'm hoping in a couple weeks I have, 2, 5, 10 questions to kind of go through. And I want you guys to overwhelm me with questions. Like I want to like log on to this and like, oh man, I got to do the questions. And there's so many. And that would be so amazing. So let's go to the next part here. So back to the game plan. We went through the YouTube comments. Let's talk about some community activity. And there was one question in here from a community member that I think could be very valuable for other people. And I haven't answered it yet. So this is Jacob. So answering around the 18-minute mark. Cool. Let me just send this into Jacob here, and I will provide all the context for this. Okay. All right. So Jacob's asking, what do you recommend for dividing your paycheck after saving your emergency funds for pro budgeters like you? Well, I appreciate the compliment. And this was after a post that he left here where he was talking about the 50-30-20 budgeting rule. So if you're not aware of this kind of budgeting framework, it's sort of just like a thought exercise. And I'm not sharing my screen at all. Here we go. So the 50-30 budgeting rule. So yeah, like he mentioned, 50% of your income is for need items, 30% wants, 20% for financial goals. It's a good framework. It's definitely not something that you need to lock yourself into, but it's a really good thought exercise. This will vary depending on, I don't know, your lifestyle, where you live, all these factors, but it is a good framework just to kind of think about. So in your question, Jacob, what do you recommend for dividing your paycheck after saving for your emergency funds, like for pro budgeters like you? So if we go back to the tool here, and I think how do I want to go about this? Let's say that you make $5,000 a month. Okay. Can I change this color? Yes. Cool. And we'll make this bigger. We, as someone who makes $5,000, cannot. Sorry, I just need the comma there. Cannot spend more than that in a month, right? So this is where understanding our finances comes in. This is understanding what our most important things are. So for me, what I like to do first is think about my North Star goals. And what I mean here is I want you to create a list of the most important things for you. So this could be anything like life goals, financial goals, anything like that. List them all out, okay? And then kind of reorder them into what is the most important things for you. Everyone's list is going to be different, which is so great. That's why it's hard to give a specific answer for this, but I just want to kind of give you the framework. So if we have $5,000 to work with, that means that our North Star goals, what we want to do is prioritize spending in our top things. So if something, let's say, is on the list, so let's say it is, what was his question specifically? Saving for the emergency fund. Yeah, I thought so. So, oops. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Saving money. Excellent. That's number one. And then you have other things on there, yada yada yada, and you go through this. And so the first thing I would do, like if your primary objective is to save money, then the first thing you want to do with the $5,000 is you want to your first expense should be, so we're going to do expenses, and I see financial goals as expenses. Okay, and then down here we're going to start listing them off. So savings account, right? And as soon as you get paid your $5,000 or whatever, whenever you get your paycheck, I would instantly put money into this savings account. So I would start with, if you have no savings at all, and Jacob, I know you don't use the dollar, but just kind of go with me here and just whatever, the currency for you, and try to translate that in terms of for your currency and how it would apply to you. But if you have no savings, I would recommend just starting with $100. Okay, so that's red. We just spent $100. So if you get paid weekly, biweekly, monthly, it doesn't matter. The goal should be to save $100 a month. Now, will $100 make you rich? No, of course not. Saving $100 will not make you rich. Okay. So you can keep going through this list. Let's say it doesn't all have to be money. So let's say you have like fitness stuff on here, okay? And then you look at your spending, and you go to your fitness. You're only spending, say, $50 a month on it. But it's like, wow, fitness is my number two North Star goal. Like, fitness is so important to me. I probably need to, and I'm just gonna, it's divided into two here. I'm gonna be an expert at this tool, guys. So instead of the $50, like, what I really need to do is increase this to say $150. Like, it's so important to me. Why wouldn't I spend more money on this thing? Right? And you can start to see how this is working. Now, obviously, you're going to have some need expenses in here, like housing, utilities, groceries, right? So like all these things are going to stack up. That's why doing this process called the 3-month look back is really important. And what I want you to do with this is you take your last 3 months of expenses. So right now, I'm recording this live stream in August. So you would want to look at, we'll call it July, June, and May transactions. You look at all the transactions, you see where all your money is going. And then you want to get an average of all of your expense categories. So all of these things, like how much am I spending in fitness, housing, utilities, groceries, okay? You get the average. And then from there, you make a new budget based on the things in your North Star goals. So you basically want to align. You want to get rid of the thinking of how you used to spend money. Just get rid of it. And now it's like, okay, I have $5,000. It's a new month. We're in August, and I need to figure out how to allocate those dollars. I need to figure that out based on what's important to me. And spoiler alert, like if something's not on your North Star goal list, so let's say a very common one that people find, um, dining out slash restaurants. For some reason, it always sneaks up on people. Okay. How much they spend on there. So just a little thing, but like if that's not on your North Star goal list, right? If it's not on there, then you're giving yourself permission to kind of cut it out. And I don't like to tell. I don't think people should think of budgeting as being restrictive, because I think that's why people don't do it. Let me know if you think that's true or not. But I think that we should be thinking about budgeting as being more intentional with where we spend our money. So if we're telling ourselves that dining out in restaurants is not important to us, then why wouldn't we want to just reduce it? Let's say if we're spending, um, can I duplicate this? I don't know. Let's say if we're spending the hundred, we'll say more because usually it's more for people. $200 a month on this. It's like, why wouldn't we want to just drain this to zero and put it towards things that we say matter more, save money, our fitness, whatever. So why wouldn't we want to make this $0 going forward? I think it's just like a mental block that we have where it's like, oh, but it's like the convenience and oh, I don't want to cook or whatever, right? And I totally get all that. But that's why that's why we do this, to kind of go through the thought exercise. But then you have to remember, it's like, okay, if I don't have dining out as much, then I'm going to need more groceries, right? You guys get the point here. But like, I'm gonna have to increase. I already have groceries on here, but I'm gonna have to increase my grocery spend to more than what I normally do, because I'm now have to supplement more meals, etc. in here. So I hope this was helpful, Jacob, and for everyone else out there. So um, I think a lot of people don't like this process. Sorry, let me say this. Let me say it differently. A lot of people at first are very timid by the thought of this process, the 3 month look back, because they think they're going to see like some demon in their financial past, or they know that it's going to be bad and they're whatever. I would say the best part about Dollar Discipline University is I'm trying so hard in here to add as much accountability as possible. Like we have a lot of calendar events and stuff that make accountability a lot easier. So I think what you're missing, if you feel like that, if you don't want to go back and look at your finances and see what's actually been going on, I think you just need a little accountability. And again, Dollar Discipline University is completely free to join. Every new member gets a free strategy call with me. So don't worry, I won't be using this during the free strategy call. Um, but if you kind of like what we've been talking about today, or I guess how I talk about things and whatever, then that's basically what that call is going to be. I mean, that's why I do this live. It's really hard to fake a live stream because it's just very raw. And here I am. It's very easy to, and I used to do this back in the day a couple years ago on a different YouTube channel, where like you were almost an imposter, and you could edit anything out and you could make yourself just sound pretty smart with editing or whatever. So um, you might not like me, and that's fine. But if you're still watching this, I'm sure that you're getting at least some sort of value from this. Um, so yeah, guys, I'm gonna just mention it again. I want to build this personal finance community in public, and I literally can't do this without your help. Like the whole point of community is community. Like this is not Chris's thing. This is not like, I simply just like guide the community when I see it's necessary. But in terms of like the community, it's being dragged positively by all the people in here that are talking and things like that. So make sure you join. But more importantly, like if you have any questions, I'm literally going to answer every single YouTube comment, every single one. It doesn't have to be personal finances. I guess I would prefer it. But right now, I'm looking for. I want you guys to reach out and chat, and I want you guys to like significantly overwhelm me with comments. Um, And if you guys have any ideas of like maybe what you're struggling with or what you'd like to see in these daily live streams, again, it's daily. So um I'm gonna be relying on you guys for some of the content too. So I think it's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be a give take between me and you guys, and I think you guys are gonna really help build this daily thing that I'm building. So, and by daily thing, I mean the live streams that I'm doing, and um, we're going longer than I thought we were, but I think this is just important. And the reason why I'm doing this daily is because I asked the community, like, hey, um, that's not it. I pretty much told them in this challenge, or not told them. I was like, hey, I want to challenge you this week to like track or look at anything that you can in your personal finances to reach your financial goals. But then I thought afterwards and I was like, wait, but what am I going to be doing to reach my goals, right? Daily. Like I'm challenging all these people to do stuff daily, but what am I going to do? So this is what I came up with, where I'm essentially just going to build this community right in front of everyone's eyes in public, and we're at 186. It's gotten so big the last couple months, even like in, I don't know, 3, 4 months ago, I was at 50. I was celebrating 50 members. So we're soon closing in on 200. And I think it's just going to keep going up and up and up. This community is always going to be free to join. And I want to create so much value in here for free that someone who just follows, who just goes in the classroom, they click start here, they watch this one 39-minute video, which needs to get updated, by the way. This is like the old spreadsheet that I have. I now have a software for people inside the community. Hint, hint, wink, wink, if you're interested. But I want to create it so it's like, hey, come in here, watch this, do the stuff, and like you're gonna start seeing progress. So that's what I'm trying to create. And if people want to speed that process up, I obviously do have ways to work with me inside the community that are not free. But that's kind of my goal. Let people get wins for free. And then, yeah, I just think that's so, I mean, especially with personal finances, I think it's really important. I want to help a million families do this, a million households. So yeah, that's going to be it, guys. This live stream. I'm going to see you tomorrow night. Have a good one.